Yo, what's up, y'all? So let me set the scene real quick. Picture this. You're just trying to live your life, go to class, chill, eat your snacks, and then your roommate walks in as loud as ever, leaves dishes in the sink, and borrows your hoodie without asking. It's annoying, right? Now flip it. Think about the roommate who knocks before they come in, cleans up after themselves, and maybe even asks how your day went. That's the dream, isn't it? We've all had experiences, good and bad, with roommates. And even if you haven't yet, trust me, your time is coming. That's why today I want to talk about what makes a good roommate, not just from my perspective, but also yours. The goal here isn't to act like I've got all the answers, but to figure this out together. I'm going to break it down into four parts: respecting boundaries, pulling their weight, being flexible, and not acting like a stranger. These are the things that can turn a roommate from someone you tolerate to someone you actually enjoy living with. So, number one, respecting boundaries. First things first, boundaries. A good roommate knows how to stay in their lane. Even if you tell them not to touch your food, they shouldn't be sneaking bites of your leftover Chipotle. And if you've got headphones on, they should know you're not in the mood to talk. Psychology Today says boundaries are how we protect ourselves emotionally and mentally. And I feel that boundaries are what makes you feel like your space is yours, even if you're sharing it. For example, I had this one roommate who always knocked before coming into the room. That might sound small, but it showed respect and made me feel like my space actually mattered.
Hmm.
On the other side, I've heard horror stories, roommates who snoop through your stuff, walk in unannounced, and even have people over without telling you. That's how
Hmm.
you earn trust in a living
Promotes the
situation.
business.
So yeah, respecting boundaries, that's step one to being a
Because she got her own speakerphone.
number two is pulling their weight. Now let's talk about chores. Uh, Look, ain't nobody trying to be somebody's parent, cleaning up after them like they're a little kid. A good roommate knows they've got to pull their weight. If you see their trash is overflowing, don't just walk past like it's invisible. Take it out. Apartment therapy puts it like this: roommates are partners in maintaining a shared space. When one person slacks, it affects everyone. And they're right. Nothing creates tension faster than one person doing all the work while the other sits back. I've seen this play out both ways. One semester, my roommate and I made a cleaning schedule. We split chores evenly. He handled the uh, he handled the kitchen, I handled the bathroom, and it worked. But another time, my roommate taught cleaning meant shoving all their stuff under the bed. I had to sit them down and say, look, we both live here. Let's keep it different. Let's keep it decent. At the end of the day, shared responsibility is about respect. If you're putting in effort, it keeps the place from turning into a disaster zone. Now, number three, being flexible. Life isn't always predictable. Late. Things come up, late night study sessions, early classes, work shifts, and a good roommate knows how to roll with it. Um, Roomies.com says flexibility is what keeps a shared living situation from falling apart when things don't go as planned. For example, I had a roommate who worked overnight shifts at a hospital. He'd come home around 7 a.m. and sleep immediately. I had to adjust. I kept the noise down in the mornings, and he did the same for me at night. It wasn't always convenient, but it worked because we both tried to be understanding. The same goes for conflicts. If your roommate leaves a dish in the sink one time, don't blow up about it. Flexibility means picking your battles and being willing to compromise. Nobody's perfect, And part of being a good roommate is knowing when to let little things slide. And number four, not acting like a stranger. Uh, Now I'm not saying you and your roommate have to be best friends, but you shouldn't be strangers. Living with someone means you're sharing a part of your life with them, and a little friendliness can go a long way. Bustle says roommates who connect even just a little report higher levels of satisfaction with their living arrangements. I can vouch for that. One of my favorite roommates was a dude I barely knew before we moved in together. But every Sunday, we'd order pizza and watch football. It wasn't anything big, but it made the place feel less like a roof over our heads and more like a home. I've also had roommates who barely spoke to me. It was awkward, like we were just two strangers past each other in the hallway. A simple, hey, or how was your day can make a big difference. Now I want to hear from you guys. What's the number one thing you look for in a roommate?
Can I start?
Yes.
The number one thing that I look for in a roommate is someone that handles conflict well. Because, like you mentioned, I think it's important for people to not only be able to make mistakes, but just feel comfort in knowing that if they make a mistake, it's not going to turn out to an all-out war.
hmm Um, Anybody else?
I'd say honesty. I just want someone to be honest. If something's not working, don't act like it is and just tell it like it is and don't just hold it all in because that doesn't help me and it doesn't help them.
hmm Okay. Then that brings me to my next question. Does it depend on where you're living, like a dorm versus an apartment?
I would say yes. Picking me up.
Uh-huh.
I would say it does, just because in a dorm you don't have as much privacy as an apartment.
hmm Anybody else?
I think the same. My only time I've had roommates is when it was people that I've considered really close friends that turned into best friends. And even though I've known them for like a long time, like one of the roommates I had, I've been best friends with since I was a freshman in high school. And even though I've known him for a long time, I definitely felt like we were more compatible when we weren't in one where it's just one shared room, and instead you're in an apartment style and then eventually a house style because it feels like you have your own space compared to sharing a space with someone else.
Mm. Then how
I
did you
think
different?
oh,
Huh?
I'm sorry. I think I heard I think John was trying to can you unmute? I think he was responding. He put in chat.
Am I here?
Yes.
hmm
Oh, I had a lot to say. Um, the best thing about a roommate is not having one, but I'm sorry, I'm an old man. So y'all leave me alone right quick. Hi, I'm listening. Everything everybody's saying is good. When you're living with people, and then you realize and you come home one day and you see, especially like, oh my God, if one roommate got a job and the other one don't, it's like, all right, if you don't got a job, I feel you. It's not like we're in a relationship or anything, but you is the roommate. Why I gotta come home and the place is just disgusting? Like, why is it still? Why? Like, do some stuff, please. You know. Um, but I don't know. I don't want to take over on the thing, so I'm glad you guys can hear me now. Bye.
Okay, then how do different backgrounds, cultures, or lifestyles play into having a roommate?
I think it's important to respect everybody's boundaries and everybody's culture.
Mhm. Anyone else?
I agree because if you don't respect another person's culture, there's going to be a lot of conflict and you're not going to be able to see on the same page, which will make your day to day harder.
Mhm. Oh, now, take a minute to think about. I appreciate everything you shared from what we talked about. It's clear there's no one size fits all answer to what makes a good roommate. Some of us value respect above all else, while others care more about connection and communication. Like Zillow says, a good roommate relationship is about balance, creating an environment where everyone feels comfortable. And and real talk, that's what it's all about. A good roommate isn't perfect. They're just someone who tries to make the space work for the both of you. So whether you're living with someone now or planning to in the future, remember these four things. Respect boundaries, pull your weight, stay flexible, and don't act like a stranger. Do that, and you're already on your way to being a better roommate and finding better ones too. Thank you.